Picture this. You have a quiet, really picturesque village in the Swansea Valley in Wales. Stone cottages, green hills, the whole bit. It's idyllic until a flock of sheep completely tears the place apart. These sheep were invading gardens, breaking into bungalows, rolling around in people's bedrooms, this causing total chaos. But it wasn't some kind of animal rebellion. It was a bender. They'd found a pile of fly-tipped cannabis and just ate the entire stash. And that image of stone sheep in a Welsh village, that's really our way in today. We're going to look into the nature of altered states. Not just here to tell funny animal stories, although there are definitely a few more of those. What we're really digging into here is the biology of it all, the biology of intoxication. We tend to frame getting high as, a human vice or some kind of moral failing. But when you actually look at the evidence, from those sheep to the complex chemistry of modern street drugs, it becomes pretty clear that the drive to alter consciousness is biological. You could say this is evolutionary. Let's strip away the stigma and just look at the mechanics. We're going from wallabies on opium all the way to synthetic opioids to really understand. Okay, so let's stick with the animal kingdom for a minute then, just to establish that baseline, the sheep thing. That wasn't a one-off. This happens all over the place. This is one of the classic examples of what looks like social drug use in the wild. Dolphins have been seen catching pufferfish. Now, pufferfish release this incredibly potent neurotoxin. In high doses, it's lethal. But the dolphins, they don't eat the fish. They just pass it around. They sort of squeeze it gently, release a small dose, and then they go into this trance-like state, just floating near the surface, looking at their own reflections. And then they pass it to the next dolphin. So is that actual intent, though? Are they really trying to get high? Or are we just, putting human emotions onto them? Well, that's the million-dollar question in behavioral biology, isn't it? But given that they repeat the behavior, that they do it in groups, it looks a lot like recreational use. The drive is there in nature, but the chemistry we've created is off the charts. We've engineered things our bodies have no evolutionary roadmap for. We've all seen the headlines about fentanyl, but the ground has shifted. Again. It's not just about street heroin anymore. You have the benzodiazepines, Valium, Xanax, and now this huge rise in pregabalin, which people are calling the new Valium. That's prescribed for nerve pain. And when you mix pregabalin with other depressants like alcohol or opioids, the respiratory depression effect just multiplies. It's not 1 + 1 = 2, it's 1 + 1 = 5. And this is where we have to talk about nitazenes. Fentanyl was a game changer because it was 50 times stronger than heroin. Nitazenes are a new class of synthetic opioids that can be up to 50 times stronger than fentanyl. Let that sink in. Stronger than the drug that's already causing a massive overdose epidemic in America. And here's why it's so dangerous. Nitazenes are being found mixed into the heroin supply, but they're also being found in fake Xanax, oxycodone pills, and other drugs. A user thinks they're taking their normal dose of a painkiller, but because there's a tiny, invisible hotspot of nitazene in that pill, they just stop breathing. The clash between our ancient biological drive and our modern chemical environment. The drive to alter how we feel, to tweak our own neurochemistry, that's as natural as wanting to eat or sleep. You see it in the wallaby, birds, bears, and the human. That's not going anywhere. But the environment has changed drastically. The wallaby eats a poppy. It's a natural plant, a consistent, relatively low dose. The modern human is trying to navigate an environment filled with hyperpotent, synthesized, invisible chemicals. So we have the same biological instinct as the wallaby, but the potential consequences are just exponentially higher. Our biology hasn't had time to evolve to handle full agonists like spice, or these unbelievable super opioids like nitazenes. We are, in effect, operating with Stone Age brains in a space age chemical landscape. So what's the defense then? It has to be information. It has to be education. You just can't rely on what a pill or a vape looks like anymore. Ignorance isn't bliss. It's fatal. On that sobering note. But seriously, please be safe out there. Understand the chemistry, not just the culture, and keep your eyes open.